Sun Gorilla personally fed the 8 immortals' mischievous spirit his inner elixir, and then burst into uncontrollable laughter. Finally, he could be with this playful spirit, who had faithfully fed him peaches every day, forever bound, lifetime after lifetime. But to his bitter dismay, from that moment on, he waited in agony beneath the Five Fingers Mountain for 7.300 years. Yet, the clown Max never appeared. He remained the abandoned, stinky monkey everyone despised. The thought of no one ever tending to his wounds again, or even calling him names, gnawed at him. In the end, Sun Gorilla reluctantly agreed to Gaia's proposition and fully embraced the dark path of retrieving sacred scriptures. What's ironic is that the very clown Max who once devoted herself entirely to protecting him now stood as Maria, a demon he was destined to fight along his journey. 300 years prior, Robin, a woman from modern times, found herself reincarnated as an ancient clown Max. One day, while gathering herbs on the mountain, she stumbled upon a cave where a wounded monkey lay chained, his body battered and broken. Moved by pity, she applied some medicinal herbs to his injuries. To her astonishment, the wounds healed almost instantly. Her eyes widened in disbelief. These herbs must be incredibly potent, she thought. Imagine how much money they'd fetch. However, the monkey only sneered, closing his eyes dismissively, while Robin examined the desolate cave. All she saw were chains binding the pitiful creature, nothing else. A strange idea flickered through her mind. Humans amusing themselves with monkeys. Sympathy softened her gaze toward him. Determined, she picked up a rock and began striking the chains relentlessly. Despite her efforts, they didn't budge an inch. Exhausted, Robin sat down to rest. When she tried again, the monkey shot her a disdainful glare that ignited her temper. Ungrateful monkey. Fine, I'm leaving. Rot here if you want. With that, she stormed out of the cave. Moments later, a deep sigh echoed through the cavern. Foolish girl, the voice murmured. These chains are forged from primordial treasures. Only Bulma himself can undo them. How could someone as frail as you make any difference? But 10 minutes later, the stubborn maiden returned, clutching something in her arms. Listen up, monkey, she said defiantly. Don't blame me for breaking the code of the Robin. I was already gone, but I spotted a peach tree on my way. Aren't monkeys obsessed with peaches? Here, these are for you. The monkey eyed her suspiciously. Robin crouched and tossed the peaches onto the ground. Don't thank me. Honestly, I'm amazed at my own generosity. Go ahead, eat. They're sweet. The monkey stared blankly at the fruit before finally picking one up and taking a bite. Immediately, he spat it out, realizing it was sour. As Robin erupted into laughter, the monkey hurled the peach back at her. Still chuckling, she wiped tears from her eyes and fixed him with a teasing look. Didn't anyone teach you not to accept food from strangers? Though visibly irritated, the monkey glared at her fiercely. Yet, Robin grew more intrigued by the minute. You know what, monkey? You're surprisingly human-like. Can you actually understand me? If only you weren't chained up, I'd take you home. Glancing at the cave entrance, she noted the sun climbing higher. Estimating the time, she turned back to him. Don't worry, I'll return with tools within 3 days. Save those peaches. Don't starve until then. As Robin left, the monkey gazed after her, captivated by her mismatched appearance, a large birthmark marring her face, yet her eyes twinkling like stars. Once alone, Sun Gorilla sank into deep contemplation, clutching the remaining peach. After defying heaven and being imprisoned under the Five Fingers Mountain, enduring daily torment, he chose solitude over servitude. For 3 centuries, Gaia visited repeatedly, urging him to wear the golden headband and serve the Western forces in exchange for freedom. But he refused, preferring eternal confinement over submission. And yet, something about this peculiar girl felt different. This place was completely isolated from the world. For 300 years, no one had set foot here. How that mischievous clown Max managed to find it remained a mystery. As for her promise to rescue him, he didn't take it seriously. After all, he had long transcended the 6 paths of reincarnation, becoming an immortal existence neither bound by life nor death. The appearance of the clown Max was nothing more than a fleeting episode in his centuries-long imprisonment. Yet, as he gazed at the peach in his hand, though he tried not to care. A faint glimmer of hope lingered within him. But on the third day, that fragile expectation vanished entirely. She hadn't returned. Just moments earlier, he had endured another round of excruciating torment, arrows piercing through his heart. Yet now, at the mouth of the cave, he heard her voice. "Hey, stinky monkey, are you still alive?" Robin sniffed the air near the entrance and detected a strong metallic scent of blood. Alarmed, she rushed inside. When she saw the fresh wounds covering the monkey's body, she gasped, clapping a hand over her mouth. "What happened? Didn't your injuries heal already? Did your sadistic master come back and do this to you?" The monkey's eyes widened, disbelief flickering in them. Could it be true? Had the clown Max really returned? "Don't worry," she said firmly. "I'll get you out this time. I brought tools." She rummaged through her basket and proudly pulled out a hammer and an axe. "Look, with these two, I can grind away at those chains if I have to." But then she caught the look in the monkey's eyes, a mix of emotions she couldn't quite place. "Why do I feel like you don't actually want me here?" she muttered, pouting. "You ungrateful monkey. Do you know how much trouble I went through to come back for you? That day, I barely found my way home, only to get beaten by my stepmother because I didn't bring back any herbs. And you don't even appreciate it." Sitting down beside him, tears spilled uncontrollably down her cheeks. All the frustration and pain she'd bottled up over the days poured out in torrents. "It's all because of this cursed world. It dumped me into this wretched place. I just want to go home. I miss my parents so much." The monkey didn't understand why Robin was crying, but seeing her distress stirred something unfamiliar and uncomfortable deep inside him. He lifted his paw, intending to wipe away her tears, but then he remembered his claws were stained red with blood. When Robin smelled the iron tang on her face, she wrinkled her nose in mild disgust. "I'm sorry, stinky monkey. I didn't mean to blame you. It's just, I hate this cruel world that treats people like dirt, and monkeys worse than animals." "Never mind. You wouldn't understand anyway," she sighed, shaking her head. "Let me try to save you first." She grabbed the axe and hacked furiously at the chains until exhaustion overtook her. Yet the chains remained perfectly intact. Frustrated, she threw down the tool. "Who exactly is your master? How could they bind you with such indestructible chains?" Realizing her efforts were futile, she gave up and instead took out some medicinal herbs to treat his wounds. Then, rummaging further, she produced a piece of dried rations, splitting it in half, handing one portion to the monkey. She promised, "I'll think of another way to save you. Trust me." The monkey nodded solemnly at her words. By now, night had fallen. Exhausted, Robin leaned against the monkey's side and drifted into a deep sleep. Strangely enough, she felt an overwhelming sense of safety whenever she was near him. At the very least, the stinky monkey would never call her useless or worthless. From that day forward, Robin began visiting the cave frequently, bringing supplies each time. The once empty cavern gradually filled with her belongings, almost as if she'd made it her second home. What puzzled her, however, was that every time she returned, she found the monkey covered in fresh wounds. Yet, she never encountered his supposed master. It was as though they only appeared when she wasn't around to witness their cruelty. Determined to uncover the truth, she stayed hidden one entire day. Finally, she realized something extraordinary. As soon as the sun set, new wounds would appear on the monkey's body, and then miraculously heal themselves shortly afterward. Only then did she begin to suspect that this was no ordinary monkey. "Are you son Gorilla?" she asked hesitantly one day, no matter how many times she questioned him. Though the monkey refused to speak human words. Defeated, Robin let the matter drop, for now. One day, as usual, Robin arrived at the cave where the monkey awaited her. As soon as she entered the cave, Robin picked up the axe and began smashing it against the chains with all her might. She was utterly exhausted, her body trembling from the effort, wiping away tears with the back of her hand. She muttered in frustration, "Why won't these chains break? Stinky monkey, how am I supposed to save you?" The monkey let out a low, guttural sound, almost as if asking what had happened to her. Robin crouched down, her red-rimmed eyes meeting his. "Stinky monkey," she said softly, her voice heavy with resignation. "Today is my last visit here. I'm getting married. She gave a bitter laugh. Isn't that funny? Even though I thought I could escape this fate. But no, a man from the neighboring village is sick. And they want me to marry him for good luck. My so-called parents took 10 silver taels for it. They said no one else would want someone like me, a misfit. An outcast, except for him, apparently. The monkey suddenly jerked at the chains, causing them to rattle loudly. He opened his mouth as if to say something but then closed it again. Powerless and unable to help her, he still felt a strange ache in his chest. Robin, ever the master of self-consolation, quickly forced herself to smile through her pain. Don't worry about me, stinky monkey. Worst case, I'll end it all before the wedding night. That family isn't ordinary. They'll regret messing with me. If they find out I've done anything drastic, my so-called parents will be the ones who suffer. As she spoke, her voice cracked, and she collapsed onto the ground, sobbing once more. But honestly, she whispered, I don't want to die. Yet marrying that man, maybe death is better than that. Don't cry, came a raspy voice. I'll help you. Robin froze, shocked. Stinky monkey, you can talk. All this time I've been talking to myself. And you never said a word. What does that make me? Stupid. You're stupid, the monkey replied bluntly. Well then, are you a god or a demon? She asked, narrowing her eyes. The monkey hesitated before turning his head slightly. A demon. To her credit, Robin didn't bat an eyelash at his admission. She accepted it surprisingly well. After a moment, the monkey furrowed his brow and commanded, Come here and hold me. Robin's eyes widened in alarm as she crossed her arms protectively over her chest. What kind of monkey are you? Don't even think about it. I have principles. The monkey gritted his teeth in exasperation. Clown Max, get your mind out of the gutter. Just come here and hold me. Reluctantly, Robin moved closer and bent down to embrace him. What are you doing? She asked suspiciously. The monkey didn't answer. Instead, he wrapped his arms tightly around her. This might hurt a little, he warned. Brace yourself. As searing pain spread across her chest, Robin instinctively looked down, only for the monkey to cover her eyes with his hand. Don't look, it'll be over soon. After what felt like an eternity, the monkey finally released her. Robin scrambled to her feet. Panic etched on her face. What did you do to me? Stinky monkey, what's happening? It's nothing bad, he assured her. Now you'll never what? She demanded. Never, unless I die. He clarified cryptically. But listen carefully, while this protects you, it doesn't change the fact that you're still expected to marry that man. Do you have any way to stop the marriage? The monkey shook his head. I can't help you there. However, you now have the power to protect yourself. With 100 years of diligent cultivation, you'll gain formidable abilities. I can teach you the methods of cultivation. At his words, Robin's eyes widened. She stretched out her hands experimentally and felt a faint flow of spiritual energy coursing into her body. But instead of joy, worry clouded her expression. And what about you? She asked earnestly. How will you survive without powers? Will you wait for me to rescue you? I'll wait, he replied simply. Robin nodded solemnly. All right, I'll go home and pack my things. When I return, we'll start training. Her eyes burned with determination as she envisioned the life of strength and freedom that awaited her in the future. Robin decided that tonight, she would pack her belongings and return to the cave the following evening to begin cultivating with the monkey. As Sun Gorilla watched Robin disappear beyond the mouth of the cave, hope stirred in his heart for the first time in ages. But days turned into weeks, months into years, and eventually decades, passed without a trace of the clown Max. Yet, the monkey remained unchanged, still confined within the cave, enduring the daily torment of arrows piercing his heart. Only now, there was no one left to tend to his wounds, or even call him names like Stinky Monkey. Each day, he stared blankly at the entrance of the cave, lost in thought. In moments of delirium, he could almost see Robin's smiling face. Stinky Monkey, her voice echoed faintly in his mind. I planted this peach pit in the soil. When you're finally free, you'll have sweet peaches waiting for you. Time stretched on endlessly until one day, low sobs reverberated through the cavern. Clown Max, where did you go? Meanwhile, after returning home from the mountain, Robin confided her plans to leave to her younger sister, someone she trusted deeply. However, fearing their parents might replace her as the bride-to-be, her sister betrayed her confidence, informing the greedy parents of Robin's intentions. In the end, despite her struggles, Robin was forcibly carried onto the bridal sedan chair. Fate took an unexpected turn when bandits ambushed the procession. Initially intending to take her as their leader's concubine, they recoiled upon seeing her appearance, cursing under their breath before ending her life. Her body was abandoned in the wilderness, decaying into bones, save for half a beating heart still lodged in her chest. Drawing on the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, she painstakingly cultivated herself over a century until she regained human form. Eager to explain her unintentional betrayal, Robin set out to find the monkey again. Yet no matter how far she wandered, the mountain seemed impossible to locate. Lost and disoriented, she stumbled upon another hilltop and inadvertently drove away its resident demon king. Taking charge of the remaining minor demons, she reformed the dark lair entirely, replacing the gloomy caves with bright wooden cottages and teaching the lesser spirits to abandon evil deeds for good ones. Eventually, she earned herself a title, Lady Maria, Madam Whitebone. But when Robin heard whispers about her identity, she froze in shock. She had unknowingly stepped into the world of Journey to the West, becoming none other than the infamous Whitebone spirit. After some investigation, she learned it was currently the 13th year of Tor, the very year Sugartank embarked on his pilgrimage. Despite gaining power, she realized her fate remained unchanged, destined to be vanquished by Sun Gorilla. Desperate to avoid this confrontation, she attempted to relocate with her group of reformed spirits. However, Gaia had already cast an unbreakable barrier around the mountain, no matter which direction they fled. They always returned to the same spot. It dawned on her then, Gaia wouldn't let them escape so easily. Through trial and error, Robin discovered a loophole. If enough demons were present for the pilgrims to defeat, the barrier wouldn't prevent one or two others from slipping away unnoticed. Winter was nearly over, and Sugartank would soon rescue Sun Gorilla. Knowing she couldn't simply wait for disaster, Robin spent sleepless nights devising a plan. She recalled that in Journey to the West, demons with powerful backers often escaped alive. Perhaps, she reasoned, she could infiltrate the pilgrimage team and become familiar enough to earn mercy from Sun Gorilla. Though risky, the idea wasn't impossible, and deep down, a quiet voice urged her to seek him out. What if Sun Gorilla truly was the stinky monkey from the cave? After delegating responsibilities to her followers, Robin ventured alone toward Tiger Ridge, flying in the direction of Sugartank's camp. Meanwhile, Sugartank sat despondently on a rock, sighing heavily. His newest disciple, a formidable yet aloof monkey, had grown tired of his incessant chatter and stormed off earlier after being scolded for attacking bandits. Though the monkey claimed he'd gone to beg alms, hours had passed without his return. From behind a tree, Robin gawked in disbelief. This Sugartank looked nothing like what she remembered, muscular and handsome, bearing none of the frailty she expected. Was this really the Journey to the West she knew? As Sugartank mounted his horse with practiced ease, Robin sprang into action, falling to the ground. She cried out dramatically, "Ouch! My leg, it hurts!" Hearing her plea, Sugartank followed the sound and approached her. Bowing respectfully, he clasped his hands together. "Amitabha," Sugartank intoned gently. "Dear lady, have you encountered some trouble?" Robin blinked back tears, lifting her head with a mix of vulnerability and resolve. But the moment she did, Sugartank froze in astonishment. Along his journey, he had only seen barren mountains and an aloof monkey, never a woman as breathtakingly beautiful as her. A faint blush crept across his cheeks. Though he avoided worldly desires, even he couldn't deny the allure of beauty. His gaze softened further as he regarded Robin. "Dear miss," he said kindly, "you may tell me your troubles in detail." Robin's eyes darted, crafting a half-truthful story. "My father arranged for me to marry someone I do not wish to wed. So I fled. Now I am alone, without anyone to rely on. Perhaps soon, I will perish here on this desolate mountain." Sugartank listened with genuine empathy. After all, he too was utterly alone. Pausing thoughtfully, he offered, "Do not lose hope, dear lady. I am also traveling by myself. Why don't we keep each other company until we leave these wilds and reach a bustling town? Then we can part ways." Robin inwardly scoffed. By now, Sugar Tank should have already rescued Sun Gorilla. Yet, she played along. "Master, though your intentions are noble, people might talk if they see us together, an unmarried man and woman. Won't that harm your reputation? Compassion is at the heart of Buddhism." Sugar Tank replied earnestly, "Saving a life surpasses building 7 pagodas. Your life matters more than my reputation." He sighed deeply before continuing. "To be honest, I recently had another disciple, but he left several hours ago." Robin blurted out, "Why?" "It's a long story," Sugar Tank began, launching into an account that started from his very birth. Robin's expression twisted slightly, but she forced herself to listen patiently. By the time he explained why Sun Gorilla had departed, night had fallen. The two sat behind a large boulder, sheltering from the wind. Robin suppressed a sly smile. No wonder Sun Gorilla left, she thought. This guy talks way too much. But just then, a sudden gust of wind whipped past her. Her hairs stood on end as an overwhelming sense of danger compelled her to turn sharply. There, pressing a golden staff against her throat, stood a man, broad-shouldered and narrow-waisted, exuding an untamed aura. The man glared coldly at her. "Who are you?" Robin's heart raced like a jackrabbit caught in headlights. She realized instantly that Sun Gorilla wasn't someone easily deceived. One wrong move could cost her life. Summoning every ounce of courage, she stammered, I am." Before she could finish, Sugar Tank interjected hurriedly, "Oh, let me explain. Gorilla, you frightened the young lady." Sun Gorilla shot Sugar Tank a frosty glance. "Step behind me," he commanded tersely. "I asked her, not you." Under such piercing scrutiny, even Sugar Tank faltered, grumbling under his breath. He shuffled behind Sun Gorilla, shaking his fists at the air indignantly. By now, Robin had steadied herself. She knew this confrontation was inevitable. She decided to gamble, betting that as long as she harbored no ill intent, Sun Gorilla wouldn't kill her. Weighing her words carefully, she lifted her chin and met his gaze directly. When Sun Gorilla saw Robin's face and the birthmark near her eye, his pupils contracted sharply. Emotions flickered across his face, impossible to decipher. Moments later, his eyes turned golden, scanning her from head to toe. Beneath her lovely exterior, he detected a pink skeleton, and within her left chest cavity, half a crystalline heart pulsed steadily. At this sight, Sun Gorilla gripped his staff tighter, veins visibly throbbing on the back of his hand. That pitiful, innocent expression, it had tricked away half his heart. For centuries, he had waited day and night, only to discover it was all a lie. He glanced down at his own chest, where the other half of his heart still beat soundly. In that instant, the searing pain of betrayal washed over him. Seeing Sun Gorilla's darkening expression, Robin guessed he had seen through her true form. Panicking, she quickly explained, "Master Tank, I assure you, I harbor no ill intentions toward you. If I had intended harm, I would have had countless chances to act." Sun Gorilla remained silent, then turned and sat beneath a large tree, closing his eyes as if meditating. Robin exhaled slowly, relief washing over her. She had won her gamble. Glancing at Sun Gorilla from afar, she considered asking whether he knew the stinky monkey. But recalling the earlier tension, she decided against it. Instead, she leaned against the boulder and drifted off to sleep. In her dream, she felt a hand gently brushing against the corner of her eye. As dawn broke, Robin opened her eyes to find Sugar Tank seated nearby, chanting scriptures in deep meditation. Strangely, Sun Gorilla, who should have been under the tree, was nowhere to be seen. Puzzled, Robin wondered why Sun Gorilla, knowing full well she was a demon, had still left Sugar Tank alone with her. But truthfully, she hadn't dared entertain any schemes against Sugar Tank either. Harming humans wasn't something she could bring herself to do. She didn't seek wealth or fortune, just survival was enough for now. After resting briefly, Robin rummaged through her bag and pulled out 2 steamed buns, sharing them with Sugar Tank. Just then, Sun Gorilla returned with a bowl of food. Seeing that Robin and Sugar Tank had already eaten, he said nothing, simply tossing the bowl onto the ground before walking away. Robin picked up the bowl, discovering white rice inside along with 2 perfectly golden fried eggs. Perhaps Sun Gorilla wasn't as difficult to deal with as Sugar Tank had described. Food was scarce in these wilds. It must have taken great effort for him to obtain this meal. Without hesitation, Robin handed the bowl to Sugar Tank, instructing him to save it for later. Her own supplies were running low, but since she was a demon, going without food for days wouldn't trouble her much. Besides, she doubted the food was meant for her anyway. Seeing her pass the food to Sugar Tank, Sun Gorilla's lips twitched into a self-deprecating smirk. That day, the trio and their horse continued onward until they reached the edge of a river. Suddenly, a massive wave surged upward, revealing a white dragon. Robin, along with the horse, was swept into the water. Desperately flailing, she caught sight of Sun Gorilla leaping down after her, summoning every ounce of strength. She swam toward his figure, but before she could reach him, the white dragon's tail coiled tightly around her waist, dragging her deeper underwater. Moments later, darkness overtook her. When Robin regained consciousness, she found herself bound to a jade pillar within a small crystal palace. Beside her stood a man whose refined demeanor carried an air of regality. This must be the white dragon, she thought to herself. Pretending ignorance, she asked, "Who are you? Why have you captured me?" "I am Linda, the 3rd prince of the Jade Dragon," he replied coolly. "And the white horse we fell in with?" Robin pressed. "It has already been devoured." Robin inwardly sighed. Poor Linda didn't realize Sugar Tank was the destined scripture seeker, which explained why he ate the horse, and likely also clashed with Sun Gorilla due to misunderstandings. Perhaps it was time to clear things up. "Prince Linda," she began, "do you know who those 2 above are?" Before she could finish, the surface of the water churned violently, shaking even the crystal palace itself. Robin was thrown off balance, stumbling back and forth. Meanwhile, above the water, Sun Gorilla wielded his staff, stirring the river furiously. Sugar Tank hesitated before speaking. "Gorilla, have you considered that such turbulence might leave Miss Robin dizzy and unwell beneath the water?" Sun Gorilla paused mid-motion, glancing curiously at Sugar Tank. "You don't seem worried about her drowning." "She's a demon," Sugar Tank said with a sly smile. "Her flaws are obvious. A beautiful woman appearing out of nowhere in these barren lands, traveling tirelessly without complaint. It's suspicious." Curious, Sun Gorilla asked, "If you knew she was a demon, why did you allow her to stay?" "I don't believe Miss Robin is malicious," Sugar Tank replied calmly. "And besides, isn't it your duty to protect us? Even if she wanted to harm us, she wouldn't stand a chance." Before Sugar Tank could finish, Sun Gorilla's expression hardened. "My duty? What exactly are you implying?" Sugar Tank shrank back slightly, stammering, I mean, as long as you're protecting me, there's no real danger." Sun Gorilla fell silent, his eyes turning golden as he scanned the water's surface, searching for something. Suddenly, his gaze shifted, and he took several steps back. From the water emerged the white dragon, roaring loudly, "I bear no ill will today. Leave this place immediately." Sugar Tank cowered behind Sun Gorilla, raising his fists defiantly. "Return my horse and Miss Robin," he demanded. "The horse has already been consumed," the dragon declared. "As for Miss Robin, she shall remain here as my wife." Sugar Tank peeked at Sun Gorilla's expression, silently praying for the white dragon's safety. Sun Gorilla's face darkened as he grabbed his staff and charged forward. In no time, the white dragon was struck down into the water, seizing the opportunity to retreat back to the Dragon Palace. Inside the palace, Robin stared at the white dragon in disbelief. "What? You want me to be your wife?" Linda, who had been sitting nearby healing his wounds, turned his head slightly and asked nonchalantly, "Do you have any objections?" "My lady? Who's your lady? Don't call me that," Robin snapped, her cheeks flushing. "I'm still a maiden. Let me tell you something. Marriage requires mutual affection. It doesn't work like this." Linda shrugged indifferently. "Do you want me to prove my love then?" Robin pointed at him, then at herself. "Are you out of your mind? We've barely met once." After being scolded, Linda remained calm. "Then consider me insane." Speechless, Robin stormed toward the palace barrier, only to be bounced back moments later. Seizing the moment, Linda remarked, "Stop struggling. Your petty magic won't get you out of here." rubbing her sore forehead. Robin demanded, "What do you really want?" "We'll marry once those two on shore leave," Linda replied simply. Confused, Robin pressed further. "Why do you want me as your wife? Don't give me nonsense about love at first sight. I don't believe it." Linda fell silent for a moment before admitting, "I already have someone I love." Robin perked up, intrigued by this unexpected twist. She leaned closer, eager to hear more, but Linda stopped there. "Go on," she urged impatiently. "I hate when people leave their sentences unfinished." Shaking his head, Linda continued reluctantly. "After I was captured and sentenced to execution in heaven, she waited for me all along. But I don't want to burden her anymore. So you're planning to take a wife just to make her give up on you?" Robin summarized. Linda nodded. "You wouldn't understand. If I carry Sugar Tank to the western heavens, I can achieve enlightenment, a fate countless humans and demons dream of but never attain." Linda countered with a question. "Would you willingly become someone's mount?" Robin froze. Honestly, she wouldn't. Who would want to be reduced to an animal ridden by others? Linda gestured upward with his finger. "Though we dragons are noble, in their eyes, we're no different from demons. 500 years ago, Sun Gorilla led a rebellion against them, and our dragon clan secretly supported him. But look where it got us. He even betrayed us in the end." Hearing this, Robin finally understood why Linda harbored such hatred, not for the scripture seekers themselves, but for the unchangeable destiny forced upon them. On the surface, he stayed behind to await the pilgrims, but deep down, he sought vengeance against them. "So you truly wish to kill them?" she murmured. Linda nodded solemnly. "I didn't expect Sun Gorilla to protect him so fiercely." At that moment, Robin felt a pang of empathy. She too was struggling to defy fate and overturn what seemed inevitable. Trying to console him, she said, "You shouldn't be so pessimistic. Many years from now, there will exist a species called salary slaves. They work tirelessly day and night. Some, once they pass the age of 35, can't even find work as one. By then, the job you see as undignified will be highly coveted. Does thinking about that make you feel better?" Linda pondered her words, then shook his head slowly. "If anything, it makes me feel worse." Robin scratched her head, switching tactics. "I think risking your life in revenge is foolish. If I were you, I'd choose patience and resilience. To change fate, you must first become fate itself. When you gain power, people will listen to you. Then, achieving your goals will be effortless." Linda sank into deep thought after hearing her advice. Moments later, he rose to his feet. "I think I understand." Just then, Sun Gorilla's voice echoed above the water. "Third Prince Linda, Gaia of the Southern Sea is here. Show yourself immediately." Linda steeled himself. "I'll return shortly." Robin smiled faintly. "Go ahead. If you survive, I promise to pretend to be your beloved." Linda nodded gravely. Time passed quickly, marked by the burning of incense. Beneath the water, Robin anxiously awaited Linda's return. Suddenly, she spotted a white dragon speeding toward her. Finally exhaling in relief, she watched as the dragon transformed into human form. Bowing deeply, Robin spoke. "I've promised Gaia to transform into a white horse and accompany Sugar Tank on his journey west." Linda explained, though he felt guilty for how he had treated her earlier. Robin, still harboring a hint of resentment, brushed it off with forced magnanimity. "It's fine, but if you feel guilty about it, just promise me one thing," she said. Without hesitation, Linda replied, "As long as it's within my power, I'll give it my all." Robin smiled faintly. "I can't tell you now, but you'll know when the time comes. Don't worry, it won't cost you your life." Her plan was simple. When Sun Gorilla eventually attacked the White Bone Demon, she would have Linda step in to block him momentarily. Surely, this wouldn't be too difficult for Linda. Linda nodded earnestly. "Whatever you say, miss." The moment Robin saw his expression, a shiver ran down her spine. "Don't look at me with that lovesick face, it's disgusting. And stop calling me, miss. I'm over 200 years old. Just use my name." Awkwardly rubbing his cheek, Linda pulled out a dragon pearl from his robes and handed it to her. "This is a token of affection among our dragon clan." Robin stared at the pearl, waving her hands frantically. "What am I supposed to do with this? Are you falling for me or something? Take it back. I don't want it." Linda looked bewildered. But didn't you agree to pretend to be my wife? Realization dawned on Robin. Oh, right. Go ahead then. Linda continued. When the time comes, my parents and her will come to see me off. As long as you wear my dragon pearl, she'll understand everything. Robin readily agreed, though confusion lingered. You're following Sugar Tank on his pilgrimage now. Shouldn't that resolve your fears of burdening her? Why go through all this trouble? Aren't you afraid of breaking her heart? What if she ends up with someone else? Wouldn't you regret it forever? Linda's face darkened. It's better for her to be with someone else than with me. Robin didn't press further. After all, this was his personal matter. Shortly afterward, Linda carried Robin and burst out of the water to where Sugar Tank and Sun Gorilla were waiting by the riverbank. Hearing their approach, the group immediately stood up. By now, the white dragon had transformed into a white horse. Sugar Tank made no mention of Robin being a demon, nor did he show any intention of driving her away. Taking advantage of the situation, Robin feigned ignorance and shamelessly tagged along as they resumed their journey. The trio and the horse pressed onward until they arrived at the gates of a massive estate. There, Linda's parents and his beloved awaited him at the entrance. Robin glanced at the dragon pearl hanging from her waist and deliberately adjusted it to make it more visible. Ensuring there'd be no mix-up, still unsure, she approached the white horse and whispered, "Is that lady over there really your beloved?" The white horse snorted twice, confirming her question. Sun Gorilla noticed the intimacy between Robin and the horse, his brow furrowing in irritation. The sight grated on him. Moving subtly, he stepped between them and suggested to Sugar Tank with a strained smile, "Master, there's a household ahead. Why don't we rest there for a while?" Sugar Tank, unused to hearing Sun Gorilla speak in such a tone, flinched visibly. Meanwhile, Robin had already caught sight of Sun Gorilla approaching out of the corner of her eye. Tensing up, she swiftly sidestepped 10 meters away, clutching her chest as if recovering from a scare. It wasn't fear of Sun Gorilla, absolutely not. In fact, she was now utterly convinced that Sun Gorilla was not the same stinky monkey from the cave all those years ago. Watching Robin avoid him like the plague, Sun Gorilla's mood soured considerably. "What's wrong with her?" he muttered under his breath. The seemingly random comment sent a jolt through Sugar Tank's mind. Realizing how tricky it was to answer, Sugar Tank possessed a perceptive heart, able to vaguely sense the karmic connections between people. The instant he laid eyes on Robin, he sensed a profound bond between her and Sun Gorilla. Yet, his stubborn disciple, who clearly cared deeply, outwardly displayed nothing but disdain, and they seemed completely unfamiliar with each other. After much deliberation, Sugar Tank cautiously asked, "Gorilla, do you dislike Miss Robin?" Recalling the half-heart she had tricked out of him and her current efforts to distance herself, Sun Gorilla coldly replied, "I despise her." Their conversation carried no attempt at concealment, and even 10 meters away, Robin heard his words loud and clear. Surprisingly, she didn't feel hurt, she simply abandoned any hope of gaining Sun Gorilla's favor. Instead, she shifted her focus to the two disciples yet to appear. If she could win over the others, perhaps one of them would intervene when Sun Gorilla tried to kill her, giving her a chance to escape. Each of them harbored their own thoughts as they approached the gates of the estate. The Dragon King and his wife approached to pay their respects. Sugar Tank returned the gesture, about to say something, when a nearby attendant suddenly gasped, pointing at the dragon pearl hanging from Robin's waist. "Isn't that the third Prince Linda's dragon pearl?" All eyes turned to Robin. Summoning her courage, she flushed her cheeks deliberately and gazed lovingly at the white horse, saying softly, "This is a token of affection gifted to me by the third prince." Though the Dragon King and his entourage were initially surprised, they quickly accepted this turn of events. Some even began treating Robin as if she were already their daughter-in-law. However, out of the corner of her eye, Robin noticed the pale face of the white horse's beloved, the woman he truly cared for. Feeling a pang of guilt over breaking another's heart, Robin decided that she couldn't continue with this charade. Determined to set things right, she resolved to return the dragon pearl and let Linda explain the situation to the woman himself. Asking him for help in gaining favor now seemed inappropriate. Meanwhile, Sun Gorilla's expression darkened like the bottom of a pot. his fists clenching tightly. Later, the Dragon King prepared a vegetarian feast to bid them farewell. The transformed white dragon horse was led to graze in the stables, while Robin only nibbled at her food before excusing herself from the table. Her mind was set on returning the dragon pearl as soon as possible. No sooner had she left than Sun Gorilla stood up and followed her. After leaving the dining hall, Robin headed toward the stables where the white dragon horse awaited. But the estate was enormous, lost in its labyrinthine gardens. She wandered aimlessly until, unfortunately, she encountered Sun Gorilla. Pretending not to see him, Robin lowered her head and hurried past. Yet, behind her came Sun Gorilla's icy voice. "Where are you going?" Unable to meet his gaze, Robin kept her head bowed. "I'm Great Sage. Do you need something? If not, I'll take my leave." She carefully tried to sidestep him, but suddenly, his hand shot out, gripping her wrist firmly. "Give it back," he demanded coldly. Robin didn't immediately understand what he meant, but the pressure of his grip intensified, leaving her wrist red and throbbing. Panicking, she struggled briefly before pleading, "Great Sage, I swear I'm just returning this to Linda. I have no other intentions. I'll be struck by lightning if I lie." Seeing her fear-stricken face only fueled Sun Gorilla's irritation. With one hand still holding her wrist, he used the other to snatch the dragon pearl from her waist. His voice dripped with barely contained anger. "Why accept his gift? Isn't having my heart enough